celebration. You may fire when ready.
Padme, Yoda's Kane, Anakin is gone insane. Logan 6, Corporal Hicks, the gem that Dawn need a fix. Ripley, NPC, Daredevil he cannot see. Bumblebee, K9, the Doctor, and Klingon wine. Old Bob Sandworm, stories that'll twist and turn. Baltar, Scimitar, Death of Tasha Yar. Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Stormtroopers and Clone Wars. James Holden, Tweaky, John Koenig and Siggy.
We talk about the series. You can join us live by picking up your phone now. We talk about the series. We're coming to you on your streaming services now. We talk about the series. Comics, books, and games. We go beyond the show now. We talk about the series. Come and join us as we sit and chat and we go on and on and on and on.
Well, good evening, Trekkies and Trekkers around the globe. It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Welcome to episode 657 of Trek Talking and Beyond. And we're going to go beyond tonight. Don't you worry. We're going beyond. Way beyond.
With consent. With consent.
Yes, we're gonna be going beyond. So we're gonna have some fun. We are gonna have some fun.
No crime.
But before we go too far, though, I would like to introduce my awesome Trek experts. We're going to start off with Paul. Paul is out in the war-ravaged Portland area, where I hear it's just a war zone every day. You got to fight for milk and bread.
That's right. I had to pull a lot of like big soap bubbles off of my inflatable rabbit costume today. I almost didn't make it back here to the studio, so it's crazy. Yeah, there's plastic bags, there's squirrel feces. It's a mess. I mean, you never would believe how war ravaged Portland is. It is just terrible. So hey, let's not forget. I want to send a special momentary shout out to all our friends at New York Comic Con right now, because right now is New York Comic Con the next 2 or 3 days. So there's a lot of fans out there. Maybe some of them are crammed into a bathroom stall listening to our podcast as we speak. So I like to picture that happening.
As one does.
As one does. But yeah, things are good. I hope we survive the weekend. So thanks, Christy Nome.
Oh, okay. All right. And also from Portland, we have our very own Eric. And how you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, man. I got my battle armor on tonight, ready to take to the streets and eat some shawarma. Should be a good time.
And also from Portland, he's got his helmet on. He's ready for battle as well. We have David. He's our miracle worker. How you doing tonight, David?
I'm pretty good. It's been quite a day. I had a lot to do, but I got through it, so I'm here for a fun time. Who's ready to have fun?
You didn't storm the castle, did you?
Well, what do you think I got this
Well,
from?
I'm looking behind you there. And not from Portland, but from Virginia, we have V. How you doing tonight, V?
I am doing all right. We finally have some cooler, drier weather, so I'm very happy. So I'm not melting like I have been this last week. Because, who has 80 degrees in October?
Yeah, it's supposed to go down into the 20s here in Vermont, so it's supposed to be real cold tonight. And last but definitely not least, from Las Vegas, we have our very own Charles. How you doing tonight, Charles?
I'm doing good. Enjoying it. The weather's in the 80s and not 90s plus, though we might see some 70s next week. But in the inside studio, because the monsoons are passing through because of the latest hurricane in the Pacific, so the weather's unpredictable.
Yeah, you have that in October. You have that. So,
Yep.
guys, you can head over to our patreon.com, Trek Talking Podcast, and help us out for only $2. You can become a Patreon and watch this awesome video, which is going on right now. and see that before everybody else for just $2 a month. And you can head over to trektalking.com and find all the information you need there, as well as all of our past shows. So please check that out. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Khan, the audio drama, episode 2. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. We also have our fan shout outs, and that's where we thank fans just like you all around the globe for listening and supporting our podcast. We also have our Star Trek polls, and we get to listen to Eric's awesome polling song. And tonight, Captain Giorgio's choice, and a Vulcan living on Earth in the 1950s. I wonder what that's all about. What actor do you share a birthday with? Find out on our sci-fi birthdays this week. You notice I changed it. It's not just Star Trek, it's sci-fi as well. And what's going on around the Star Trek universe? Shatner says, what? He's back again. He's back in the news. Could we be seeing longer Star Trek seasons? If one Star Trek producer has his way, that could happen. Star Trek Scouts and Starfleet Academy news. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So sit back, relax, have a good time, and hang out with the Trek experts. Every week we do our fan shout-outs. And where do we get our fan shout-outs from? Our Facebook page. You can go to Trek Talk and Beyond. You will see pinned to the top of the page, I'll live long and prosper, saying, where are you from? Tell us where you're from. Leave lots of emojis. It gets my attention. If you see a heart next to your name from yours truly, Uncle Jim, then you are going to be featured on a future fan shout out. So, Eric, do you want to get us started with our fan shout outs this week?
I absolutely do, Jim. We're starting out this week with saying hello to Sharon Poulin. Sharon Poulin is saying hello to us from Somerset in beautiful Tasmania, Australia, a beautiful island down south of the mainland Australia and nothing between us and Antarctica. Wow, that's pretty cool, man. Totally different geography from what we've got up here. But I think I'd like to visit Tasmania, except I understand that it's rife with spiders, so I don't know. That's a little weird. But just Sharon, thank you for saying hello to us from down under. We appreciate it. Also saying hello this week to Wayne Till. I believe we've heard from you before, Wayne. I seem to remember your name, but thanks for saying hello again. Thanks for saying hello again. You are from Hampshire, England, and you're sending us not only that beautiful English flag, but also the Union Jack, waving proudly. Thanks, Wayne. Also saying hello this week to Petra Kataunti, who's saying hello to us from Münster, Germany, sending us that nice live long and prosper hand. I'll say peace and long life to you, Petra. And last but not least on my list, I'd like to say hello this week to Darren Apken, who is in Wales. And Paul, you got to help me out here. What is that? Simru? Is that how you say it? Huh?
Three.
From Cree.
Pronunciations are very different.
Yeah, I knew you would know that. So thank you so much. And Darren, good thing we got Paul here to back me up, buddy. Thanks for saying hello to us. Charles, who would you like to say hello to?
Oh, thank you, Eric. Let's start off with Gigi Gabora from Chicago. Welcome, Gigi. Welcome to Stone Reed Marshall from Wichita Falls, Texas. Welcome. Welcome to Adam Savage from Southeast London. Oh, I want to get back to London. And welcome to Tom Aaron C. from Mississippi, but originally from Northern California. Oh, love Northern California. Got a couple cities I need to be visiting one of these days. So, I guess since V disappeared on us, I'll just keep on going to help out. Let's welcome Jill Meadows Smith. Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo, Michigan. Welcome Joseph Chadwick from Arkansas. Weir is saying that that used to be an Oklahoma guy. Ah, well, good luck being from Arkansas then, Joseph. Welcome Chris Landroach. Live and work in Yosemite National Park, California. Wonder why, ha ha. I think that'd be an interesting place to work, Chris. And welcome Ryan M. Tarvies from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I wonder if V recognizes Ryan at all. But Paul, who's on your list?
Thank you, Sub-Commander Charles. Let's move
You're
out
very
of the United
welcome.
States back over to the colossal continent of Europe, where lots of things are going on. First of all, I'm going to say hello to our pal Uli Holst in Vlotho, Germany. 32602. That must be some kind of special code they use in Vlotho. There wasn't Vlotho the guy from Ghostbusters 2. I'm not sure if they're related or not. But anyhow, Uli is flashing one of these to us, and you can only see what I'm flashing if you're a Patreon member. Sorry, everyone else. You just have to get on board. So we'll move on out of there and we'll head over to a little sunnier climes to Firenze, to Florence, Italy, to Alex Vecchio. Alex Vecchio, that is a good Italian name, my friend. It's great to hear from you. I love knowing that there's representation for all things Trek in Florence. That somehow restores my faith. And then we got a top fan sneaking in here. Everybody make room, make room. We got a top fan. Give him room to breathe, okay, friends? I mean, my God. This isn't just a top fan. This is Mela Ludis from Kaiserslautern, Germany. How about that, right? And they got the big, Vulcan how do you do happening there as well. Kaiserslautern. That sounds like something you should not say on a first date. Hey, Kaiserslautern. I mean, that could get you in all kinds of trouble.
It sounds like a delicious sausage to me. I don't know.
It sounds like something that will get you slapped in the face. Hey, my little Kaiserslautern, would you like to go to visit Blotho with me? And, next thing you know, you got a big red one on the side of your face. And then down the road in Belgium, we have our friend Daniel Impa. Is everyone all right? It seems like people are having a hard time breathing on the podcast. I'm not sure what. Gird your loins, friends. It's only the first 10 minutes of the show. There's still much more to come. Let's pass this birthday candle over to venerable Uncle Jim. Or is it
It's
tonight, Uncle
it's a shout out megaphone. We're not to the birthdays yet, Paul.
Uncle Jim? It's not. It's a shout out megaphone. Sorry.
Why, thank
Too
you
much
so much,
window. Too
Paul.
much window pane before the show.
I understand.
These
It
things
happens.
happen.
They do. They do.
It does. It does. It's we're war ravaged up here in Rutland too. They're coming for our milk and cheese and our pot. We can't have that.
What about your maple syrup?
Maple syrup too. That's a commodity right there.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you so much to John Hublak Jr., who's listening to us in Oswego, New York. Thank you for listening, John. I also want to say thank you to Carl Stevens, who's listening to us in Texas right now. Remember the Alamo. We also want to say thank you to Rami Baghdadi, who's he's not rising. He's a top contributor, and he's in New York, US of A. And last but definitely not least, we want to say thank you to Holly Harris Van Broskirk, who's listening to us in Ohio. I didn't have any emojis to report there, unfortunately, but that's okay. You guys can head over to Trek Talking and Beyond. Tell us where you're listening from. Leave emojis. And if you see a heart next to your name, you want to tune in because you'll be immortalized like all these awesome people. And send us a picture. And if you're a patron, there's me and Eric and Tracy Lee Coco at Trek-Coneroga. These are my wife and my daughter Jamie with Gates McFadden up at Trek-Coneroga. You can send us your pictures, and they'll be right up there on the screen with everybody else's. So please do that. And now, guys, you know what time it is? It's time for our Star Trek polls, which means what? Which means this.
Poland. You know we like knowing what you thought about the show, and we tried to share your opinions with all of our minions out there because they listen worldwide. So tell us just what you think, and together we will all drink Kanar and Romulan ale tonight.
I love that song, Eric. The more I hear it, the more I like it.
It's one of my favorites, and I tried to sing it as schmaltzy as possible too. It's so hopefully the schmaltz came across.
We have to dig out. We have to try to find the Enterprise theme song.
I was thinking about that, Jim, because you mentioned that like a week or two ago, and I we could, but the problem is that the whole concept of that song was called Faith That You'll Call, and that was back when we had the live call-in number. So we could play it, but we don't have the live call-in number anymore. So we
But it's
might have.
still it's a great
We,
song.
it's a great song. We might have to write a new one though.
So, Eric, believe it or not, David has some surprise when we get to our videos tonight. He came up with something new, and we tried it out. I thought it was kind of cool, so I think you guys are going to be surprised. I hope you like it. But before we go too far, every week on our Trek Talking and Beyond page, I'll throw up different polls, and I ask you guys, the fans, what you thought, and then we collect your answers and we read them back on the air. So, David, you ready to roll that exciting tape?
It's unfortunate that you'll be leaving these people without experiencing one thing they have to offer.
Such as alcohol, frozen fish sticks, the constant threat of nuclear annihilation?
There's much more to them. You just refuse to see it.
I've seen enough.
I haven't. I plan to stay here.
If this is your attempt at humor...
They're on the verge of countless social and technological advancements. I have the unique opportunity to study an emerging species.
That's what you've done. Much closer than we anticipated. Your duty is to return to Vulcan and report your findings.
There's still more to learn about these people. But I don't intend to remain in Carbon Creek.
Where would you go?
To one of their larger cities at first. After that, I'm not certain. There's so much to see.
The High Command will never allow it. Tell him it's not possible. Tamir?
Perhaps I can arrange for you to be on the next survey ship.
In another 20 years, running more statistical scans from high orbit? That's not enough. Where's your captain?
He was killed in the crash.
There were 4 Vulcans aboard your vessel.
Mestral died in the crash as well. We cremated their remains.
All right, so you saw the tape. What's the question, Eric?
I have a lot of commentary about this one. So, in the Star Trek Enterprise second season episode Carbon Creek, which of course is a must-see episode, Vulcan science officer Mestral decides to remain on Earth in the 1950s. Do you agree with the decision to allow him to remain behind? And surprisingly, 93% of our responders said, yeah, let him stay. Let him stay. Only 7% said, come on home. First of all, I feel like alcohol, fish sticks, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation also sounds like my childhood, so that lasted for a really long time. and secondly, Vulcans can't lie. Hello? Paul tells a whopper right here. And thirdly, what about the whole like temporal prime directive situation there, man? Like, yeah, I have to go against the minions on this one, man. I don't think letting him stay behind was the correct thing to do. There's some kind of paradox created by that, I'm pretty sure, because if he dies, then can he still be born in the future? I don't know. There's, these things get complicated when there's temporal stuff involved. So, so I disagree with the minions, but somebody else may have a differing opinion. Anybody else want to take up that mantle?
Quick question.
Yeah.
The question in the poll says, do you agree with the decision to allow him to remain behind? So the decision was sort of made by collectively, like the other members of his team?
Well, I think
did it?
Well, it could be worded differently. Do you agree with his decision? I also think that technically, like, T'Pol was sort of in charge of the team, so you could say
because she makes the cover story, right? She kind of like faking his death, kind of a thing.
So
almost,
you could
right?
say ultimately was her responsibility in some ways, even though he's the one that requested it. Yeah.
I think these are some of the most whispering Vulcans I've ever heard. They all are very
That's
quiet and
because it's
whispery.
nighttime and they're trying to be
It's
very
nighttime. We must not
surreptitious.
wake the
Yes.
we must
It's
not
the
wake the
50s,
moths.
dude. It's the
Yeah, we
50s.
must all whisper with our stocking caps on. Yeah, I'm kind of with Mestral there, right? I like his rebelliousness and the fact that he's propelled by curiosity. He's like a scientist. He doesn't want to leave, right? He doesn't want to just be like a, you know, you know, making, whatever you may when it's redundantly boring. So, but gadgets or widgets, that's what I'm looking for. He doesn't want to just be a widget puncher, right? In the Vulcan Science Academy. He wants to get out there and run amongst the dandelions and see what things are like. And he's curious, right? He has a romantic's attraction to Earth. So, it's surprising that they let him do it, but I think maybe it's just because in this day and age, I just really think that I have to support rebellious free spirits, man. So I'm going to go with the minions on this one, just because I like his need to know and to explore.
I guess the real question is that they lied. Both Tamir and other Vulcan dude whose name I don't remember. They lied.
But isn't there a chance, though, guys, that like who said that Vulcans cannot lie? Right? There was a Spock.
It was Spock,
It
who's
could just be more Vulcan bullshit, right? They
it
just
is
basically say
it
they
is
get
more
away with
Vulcan
stuff.
bullshit.
No, if we tell them that we can never lie, they'll believe everything we say. Does that
Well,
sound good? I mean, I think that
was it in Wrath of Khan where was it Savik that said you lied and Spock says I exaggerated.
That's true.
So maybe
Yep.
this is exaggeration.
Absolutely lie.
Yep, you're right.
good point.
I mean, the interesting fact is that this dude's been running around on Earth since 1954, and like we haven't heard anything from him, or
So he
like,
did a really good
Yeah.
job of
Well,
staying undercover.
He
yeah,
did,
he took a lot of Tylenol.
He's the one that started Area 51, guys. Come on, it's obvious.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
There was an episode about that too.
I just that I think Carbon Creek is probably one of the best episodes of Star Trek that's out there, and if you guys have not watched it because you didn't like Enterprise, please check that episode out. It's
fun fact: according to canon, Mistral is now Stephen Miller, actually. So
What?
Stephen Miller.
So
Yeah,
he's
No, it seems
like
like
how
you know,
how
yeah.
far that he has fallen.
Well, he
the head
doesn't
shape
look
is
like
very similar.
he doesn't look like
He's a much taller
like
man.
Nosferatu. So yeah.
oh boy.
So here's my
But
take
yeah,
on this
anyways, Carbon
episode.
Creek is a great episode.
It really
What do you
is.
think, David? I had to go for a minute. Did you you agree with the minions?
So this was a story told by DePaul, and since we had just established that Vulcans can lie, is she lying about that Vulcan staying on Earth? I don't know. I mean, it's just a story that she was telling, so technically it could be made up. You never
Or
know.
did she lie about creating Velcro?
Maybe. I don't know. Trying to get famous, I guess. But I would actually have to say I agree with the minions just because being on an alien planet is actually kind of fun to explore. Even if you do have some form of prime directive, as the Vulcans may or may not have at that time. But yeah, I think it would have been really interesting to explore an alien world just to experience their culture and see what they had to offer. And so I think making the right decision to stay on there was probably what I would have done.
Now, do you think, David, that he pon farted and got jiggy with it with that woman Maggie?
Well, do we have an R-rated version of the Patreon?
I mean, maybe there's some half Vulcan, dude running around. Maybe that's where Cybok came from. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for that reference. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you gotta throw that in
Yeah,
there.
of course. Well, but the flaw in that is that because I have that Star Trek. I need to dig it out, man. I have all the Star Trek stuff that I haven't seen in forever. But it was this record of Star Trek, and on it was Sarek describing how Spock came into the world, and there was intense, I guess, medical intervention needed. So I don't see how this Vulcan could have gotten with anybody. I mean, he could have, sure, but had kids, I don't know, because they wouldn't have been able to, I guess, have them without medical intervention, which they don't know about in the 1950s. So that's my.
Well, good. I mean, good theory, but we do see Spock's birth in Star Trek 3, right?
Excuse me? Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier.
Oh, 5. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. I always forget about that one.
V, I don't think your record is canon, V. I think that's something that Mark Leonard did to make a quick buck.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
so,
You know which one I'm talking about, though, right?
I don't.
Okay. All
No,
right.
but I will
have to dig it
just
out.
because two people have medical intervention when a baby needs to come out doesn't mean everybody.
Okay. All right.
Still,
Well,
I mean,
I
like,
mean,
it could be,
look at Kira on DS9. With
Must I?
yeah. With Keiko's.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
we've seen a lot of cross pollination on Star Trek, so
Just don't go on Reddit and look up any sort of anatomy with Cardassians or anything, because you will regret it. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah, don't be doing that.
Not do that.
That would be a bad thing.
Because people have
this conversation explains a lot.
People have drawn pictures.
Warning, rated R, Patreon.
No, I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything.
This is not for children.
No, but yeah, just you can go and discover it yourself. But I'm not saying anything. Just
now I have to.
Yes, you do.
Is it anything like the way? Is it like a cat? You know about what a cat has?
No.
I'm sure it has something to do with the spoon.
No.
You don't know what a cat has?
No, it has nothing to do.
A cat has 9 lives.
It has no.
No, they have 9 lives.
It's kind of barbed, so that it's like.
No, I know. We know. Yes. Ew.
Okay.
No.
No.
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. Just do it.
Wow.
Go.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
It's in my contract that some educational content gets in every part of the show.
See,
so.
I struggled to get back connected because my whole thing went kablooey. So maybe I should have just pretended like, I can't get back on. That would have made things go much smoother.
I think old DePat's whole thing went kablooey, but that's another story.
Yeah, he had too much Tylenol for sure too, and his escalator didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So let's move on to this.
I think Charles
let's move on to the next one.
Oh my God, so
David,
sorry.
you want to roll the tape?
Yeah, I can get it going. Yeah.
All right.
Starfleet doesn't fire first. That's all, number one. We have to. In my ready room. Now. Lieutenant Commander, you have the bridge.
Yes, Captain.
Computer, privacy. How dare you challenge me?
I apologize for my
Don't
insubordination.
you realize that kind of talk can destabilize a crew?
Don't underestimate them. I've overseen their exercises. They're ready for battle.
Battle is not a simulation. It's blood and screams and funerals. I taught you better than this. We don't start shooting on a hunch, and we don't take innocent lives, period. I understand your history with the Klingons.
My commitment to this course of action is not emotional. We target his neck, cut off its head.
You're still injured. You're not thinking
Thousands
clearly.
of lives will be lost because of failure to act.
Whose lives? Victims of your imaginary war.
And your life, Captain. Yours.
Stand down, Commander Burnham.
All right. Wow. So this is right from the very beginning of Star Trek Discovery, and you saw the clip. What's the question, Eric?
In the Discovery episode Vulcan Hello, the Vulcan Hello, Captain Giorgio goes with a diplomatic solution rather than attacking the Klingons as suggested by the executive officer Burnham. Do you agree with her decision? And this one, folks, is split 50-50. 50% of our responders said yes, what could go wrong? I think we've figured that out. And 50% said, no, these are Klingons. We must eviscerate them. So, yeah. This is another one of those questions that's kind of like, well, you sort of had to do it the one way for the whole like season 1 to actually occur the way it did. But in a vacuum, I think I agree with Burnham. I mean, we figure out later that Burnham has a really good intuition. She makes an excellent captain. She's like, you got to come to the Klingons table and do what the Klingons would do in this scenario, and that's not what Giorgio does. And as a result, we get a war, right? So if she had cut the head off instead, perhaps we could have avoided the Klingon War.
Yeah, and this is one of those questions. This particular one, I think we discussed it from Burnham's point of view when the episode aired. I think we had this discussion when Burnham talks to Sarek, but we haven't had it from Giorgio's point of view. And she's a diplomat along the lines of Captain Picard. So I think that Giorgio is, always looking for a diplomatic, and she says there Starfleet doesn't fire first. And I think she's on the right side, but I think she's not being objective enough. I mean, these are Klingons, right? Had she attacked, would the war have still raged? Who knows? I mean, the Vulcans were able to staff off the Klingons by attacking them, but I don't know. I'm kind of with Burnham on this one. I think if they had attacked and killed the Kugma, blew up a ship, um, the war wouldn't have really gone anywhere because he was the fuse that was lighting it all. He was the martyr. He was the one that started it. And if you silenced him, would that have silenced? Because the other Klingons really weren't going to follow him until Kor shows up. Anyways.
Yeah. I think this scene, not to like give another one of my opinions, but I'm going to. I think this scene sort of shows that Burnham has a cultural sophistication that Giorgio doesn't have, and that Giorgio is only looking at it as a Starfleet, like through a Starfleet lens, right? Whereas Burnham's actually able to understand it from a broader cultural context, which makes her, in the end, I think, a better captain. But I don't know.
Yeah, so this is a 50-50 one. So, yeah, how about you, Paul? Which part of the 50 are you on?
Well, what a surprise. The audiences in our United States audience is completely divided. How shocking. I got to go with Captain Giorgio on here, frankly, just because it's, while, everybody makes good points about what Burnham's perspective is and what her thoughts were and her reasoning and all of that stuff, right? At the end of the day, you do not speak out against your commanding officer on duty in a live situation like that. It is just absolutely not done. It is insubordination. It's borderline mutiny. If she was really an intelligent character and she was raised among Vulcans, she would say, Captain, I got to talk to you for a second. Can I speak to you in your ready room or whatever? But you don't do that and countermand her orders on the bridge in front of the crew. You're done. Yeah, it's not acceptable. It's immature and rash, and it sets a really bad example. And it's a really, frankly, get you thrown in the brig. You just don't do it, So yeah, she's impulsive. I mean, I get that this is the kind of writing they wanted to do. That showed that she's an impulsive, undisciplined character, which is what she's like in that first part of of the first season of the show. Contrary to her Vulcan upbringing, she's like a petulant child, right? But you do not go against your captain. I mean, it's one thing to take him off in sidebar, say, listen, here's why I think we should maybe fire, but you don't go up against what your captain says in the crew. That's right. You're right out of Starfleet on your ass. So yeah, sorry. Well, she may have good intentions. You don't go up against the captain. It's just not done.
How about you, V? What do you think?
Yep, I agree with Paul, and I want to know if a Vulcan hello is anything like a Romulan goodbye.
Very similar.
Okay, good. Yeah, absolutely. Coming from Navy background, in the real life military, yeah, you would have your butt in the brig very quickly. And I actually earlier I was watching All Good Things, TNG, where Beverly Crusher, when Picard is going through time, and he speaks out. Of course, he's all confused because he's going through multiple times, but she just absolutely rips into him for, aside for speaking speaking against her wishes or her orders in front of the crew. So yeah, you just don't do that.
All right. What do you think, David? Could the war have been prevented?
Well, since we're on the topic of Vulcan hello, Romulan goodbye, how about a Cardassian surprise? But um, so I have to agree with Paul and V on this one that you don't go against your captain, and I do agree that the idea of doing a diplomatic solution first is always the best solution. War is really horrible, and nobody should have to go through that. But on the other hand, the idea that since she had intel about the Klingons having to, always attack first, maybe. But at the same time, yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Giorgio's decision that she made the right choice.
All right, that goes to you, Charles. What do you think? Giorgio or
I'm going
Burnham?
with I'm going to go with Burnham on this one because as we've seen progression of captains, this kind of shows a captain that does not trust her crew members' opinions. Her opinions are firm and she goes exactly the way she wants to go. I would see Pike listening, saying, okay, you got an opinion, let me hear it. I want to hear the story behind it. I want reasoning. Let's get a reason for this happening. And I think this is things that Burnham would do on her ship. So I think it kind of shows the way Giorgio takes the anger, that Giorgio doesn't trust her crew, that you follow her rule or else. And I think that makes it a captain that people fear but don't always trust. And that's not always
Yeah, and
for
I
the
think
best
I think
captains.
I think Paul was right because this is the first episode, and it's establishing, how petulant and how much growing Burnham needs to go through before she gets to where we know she eventually gets. So this is a good place to start with her character because we know where she ends. All right, so guys, that wraps up our polls. Please head over to Trek Talking and Beyond, and I haven't put a new one up yet, but I'll come up with something and throw it up there, and you guys can answer it. So now it's time for some trivia.
And you know what that music means. It's once again time to put on your thinking caps and join us for Star Trek Trivia Time with Uncle Jim.
All right, so I've decided to go beyond this week because we always do Star Trek, and so I wanted to do something a little bit different. So here we go. We're going to be a little bit different, and you're going to notice the birthdays might be a little bit different as well. But different is good. I think change is good, and so we're going to go for it. So, Paul, are you ready for the first question? Shocker.
Yeah, my lord. Tell
It's
me.
not Star Trek related.
It's all right.
So, in the classic sci-fi horror film Alien, what was the name of Ripley's cat? Tick tock, tick tock.
Okay.
Tick
Well,
tock.
that would be Jones or Jonesy, as
Jonesy.
often gets
That's right.
spit out from Brett and Parker. But yeah, Jones.
Yep, that's right. Okay, Eric, you ready?
I
Not
am
a Star
ready.
Trek question either.
I couldn't remember the name of the cat, so now I'm a little worried. We'll see.
Okay, name an actor that was killed by both a predator and an alien.
Oh, you mean did you say name an actor, like the actor's name?
Yeah, the actor's
because
name.
because there's not a character cross. Well, that would probably be Bill Paxton, right? Because he's going straight to hell,
Yep.
and then he plays that guy with like the fedora in the Predator movie. And doesn't he also in Predator 2? Yeah, and isn't he also in Terminator 2? I feel like he hits all three of those franchises.
He hits all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice night for a walk, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yep, that's right.
Cool.
And
good question.
So yeah, so we're 2 for 2 so far. See, non Star Trek. The Trek experts
our knowledge
proving
has
to be
breadth. not just
Cyferts.
depth.
Cyferts.
It has girth.
Spurts.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
at any rate. David.
it's one of those words like moist that you want to use in like
Yeah,
just little bits here.
Little bit.
Special occasion words.
So the pressure's on, David. Not a Star Trek question.
Okay.
But I so what member of Rogue Squadron survived the Battle of Yavin? That would be Star Wars. The Battle of Hoth, The Empire Strikes Back, and the Battle of Endor, Return of the Jedi.
So Rogue Squadron retains to X-wings, I would
Yep.
believe, and
But Hoth is in there
Yep, because he flew
Yeah, I'm
a
trying to remember.
speeder.
because he was in a speeder too.
Yep.
I think I know who it is.
Oh my goodness. Wedge?
So I'll give you a hint.
Was it Wedge?
It was Wedge Antilles. That's right.
Yeah.
Ah, that's the
Nice.
last name. Okay, yeah.
Nice pull.
Yep, Biggs bites it, but Wedge makes it through all the movies.
Noise.
Congratulations. So we're styling, but now it's up to V. Uh-oh.
She's got this. She's got
She's
this
got
all day
this
long.
one. So not a Star Trek question, but an 80s cheese question. And I love the 80s cheese. The 80s sci-fi is the best. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is known for his one-liners. In the James Cameron classic The Terminator, he utters the phrase, "I'll be back." Name another 80s sci-fi movie where he utters the same line.
Now, this was tricky because he says a variation of this line in quite a few movies. So I was trying to find out exactly which one, and apparently it is Total Recall. Is that right?
Well, I was the movie that I give you a hint. After he utters this line, the person that he utters the line to says, "Only in reruns."
Okay, yeah, because I came up with like 12 different movies.
Well, I literally just watched this movie because there's a new remake of it coming out, and I said to myself, why? So I went back and I watched it, and I said, that's a good question.
Well,
Richard Dawson is the guy that he says the line to, who happens to be a talk show host.
Well, I don't.
Oh, okay. I just Googled it, and now I understand Paul's miming.
I've been I haven't been watching Paul. It wouldn't be. I'm trying to think of all the movies now. Twins? No.
Sci-fi movie though. It's a
that's
sci-fi
right.
movie.
That's right. Well, it was kind of sci-fi because the genetic engineering.
A man having a baby.
I don't know.
But I know.
I thought I did my research and the internet lied to me, so I got
So
nothing.
many lies.
Paul, you want to pull it out?
Well, it's actually two. Just to clear it up, right? The movie in question is, of course, The Running Man, right?
Oh, I
From
never
the
saw it.
Stephen King, Richard Bachman book of the same
Yep.
thing. But he also says it in the cult fave Commando. He says, "I'll be back" in that as well, right? Because they were basically everybody was really high and shameless when they made that movie. So,
He also
clearly, but
he also said the same line in Kindergarten Cop, didn't he?
He says it again. If you go back and look at like Expendables 2, which is I don't recommend.
Kindergarten Cop was the one I think I was thinking of because I thought it was a comity movie too.
Yeah. I was thinking of too, but then when he said sci-fi, I was like, oh wait a minute.
No, the funny line in Kindergarten Cop is when he's got a headache and the kid insists that he has a tumor, and it says it's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah. Go see a gynecologist. Is what he says. Oh no, the student says that. Anyway. So Paul.
Womp womp.
Paul's batting. Paul's on fire here.
Yes, Sam, yeah.
In the 1990s TV series Sequest DSV, what actor plays Nathan Bridger, his only TV appearance.
Well, I think it's an actor who, in this case, finally found the bigger boat he was saying that everybody else was going to need, which is, of course, the late great Roy Scheider.
And you know what? We got to do a Sequest show, I think. I really do. Captain Bridger would have been a great Starfleet captain, I think. And we'll have
It's
to.
a fun show. It was a fun show. I mean, it's
Yeah,
definitely
we'll
one
have
of those
to.
shows where it's a lot like Space 1999, where they really changed a lot of stuff around, like midway, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
they went crazy. They really shook it up, right? You know, that would be fun, and I would love to do like I don't know if anyone else is of the right vintage for this, but I'd love to do an Irwin Allen show, right? Like, you know, in the 60s and early 70s, they had Land of the Giants, Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This makes me your Sequest makes me think of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea right away. But man, those were some great shows.
Absolutely. We'll schedule something. All right, Eric, you ready?
Okay,
Kind
let
of
it rip.
a Star Trek question with a multitude of answers, a plethora of correct answers.
Okay.
In fact, you
I like
can't get
that.
this one wrong.
I can't?
Okay.
Okay,
No,
we'll,
you
we'll
can't.
see.
All right. Carl Urban is best known to Star Trek fans as playing Leonard Bones
McCoy.
McCoy in the
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Trek reboot movies. Name another character in another franchise that he is portrayed, and there are many of them
Like any character in any franchise?
that he's portrayed.
Well, I will admit that I'm a total sucker for Judge Dredd comics, and so he played Judge Dredd, and actually that movie wasn't that bad, even though I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Sylvester Stallone version. But yeah, I don't know. I thought he did a great job in that movie,
It
and I
was
enjoyed
great,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Dread's a good movie, dude.
it's a good movie, and some people just can't get into that like general genre of stuff, but I totally dug him in that role. Yeah.
I've heard that Amazon is trying to lure Carl Urban in with money to do a Dread series.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
may get, because they've been trying to do another movie forever, and I think that it would really lend
I think
itself well to
yeah, I mean, if you
a
want to
series.
follow some of the stories that are in the comics at all, you really need more time than a 2-hour movie to be able to do it, because there's
It's
a
so fun.
lot of stuff in that world that gets
Are you
brought up.
watching? I hate to derail, but are you watching Peacemaker at all?
I have not been. No. Should I
Peacemaker
be?
is you absolutely should be, but it's kind of almost like Judge Dredd tone wise. It's hilarious. I mean, it
Okay.
is just it's gory as you can imagine, but it's also really funny and clever and just weird. It's really weird. It's great.
Is that the show where they blow off the guy's penis?
Jeepers.
Rated R.
I
Rated
might have left the
R.
room if that happened. It could
Yeah,
be, but yeah,
the
yeah,
guy with the
that's
gold helmet, right? He wears a gold helmet.
Peacemaker. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
well, it's like silver. It's silver. Yeah,
Yeah, I watched that
yeah.
one episode. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
you gotta
But
just
Wow.
It's a watch the if you here's what I'd say. Watch the first 10 minutes, Eric, and if you're not laughing like a maniac at the first 10 minutes of the first season episode pilot, you won't like it. So,
Okay. All right, I'll check it out.
yeah, so but it's hysterical.
You know, Eric, I don't know anything about Judge Dredd at all. Never heard of it. Don't know anything about it. But I did see the movie because we're talking about 80s cheese, and Stallone was about as 80s cheesiest as you can be. And so I just loved the way he played Dredd. It was just cheesy one-liners, just fun. And then when the new one came out, it was more serious and gory, and it was a totally different tone that I wasn't prepared for. So maybe if I go back and watch it, knowing that again, I might enjoy it more. But,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a better movie, like as movies go. Now, what Urban doesn't, he kind of has down, but not, I don't think to the Stallone level, is the shape of the mouth. Like that whole like constantly frowning thing that Dredd always has. Paul's got it there. Yeah. Put a helmet on that guy.
Yeah, slap a helmet on him.
Here's a trivia question that I don't know if anybody knows. Do you know why Sylvester Stallone has the droopy lip? Does anybody know?
No.
He got punched too much in the face doing the Rocky movies?
No. Well, apparently.
No, why?
And this is from reading back before the internet, reading like a People magazine or something. Apparently, when he was born, he had to be delivered by forceps, and it kind of squished his face and damaged the nerves. So there you go.
Wow.
There's that image.
Not just fun, but educational as well.
I don't know, or just having an
Some
image
knowledge
of.
to this podcast. I love it.
Okay, yeah, I don't.
All right.
I don't know why I
Well,
brought that up, but
moving
I did.
on with
I love it.
our
I
trivia,
love it.
Charles gets a question, and this
This
you're
is
going to be shocked when you
easy.
hear this one. This one is pseudo Star Trek related. Lawrence Luckinbill, who is best known among Star Trek fans such as myself for playing Sybok in the awesome Star Trek V: The Final Frontier motion picture. Who is his famous mother-in-law?
Well,
And he
I
talked about this on the podcast.
I guess he had an easy way of getting into Desilu Studios, having Lucille Ball
Yep.
as a mother-in-law.
Yeah, isn't that what a shock that is, huh?
Gosh, that was a
See,
tough
I had to
question.
sneak.
Not.
You knew that I was going to sneak.
So
Yeah, sneak in.
I'm just curious. That
Didn't
was a
sneak in
sci-fi
Star
question.
Trek 4, like some of us want to hear about, or Star Trek 2, like we're doing with the podcast. Podcast.
But
So
that's
that was
okay.
our Star Trek V reference
I love it.
for the night.
There it was.
So, David, are you ready?
Uh-oh. I think
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, Jerry Goldsmith composed the music for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I think one of the best soundtracks. Can you name another Star Trek film that he scored? This is an easy one.
Another Star Trek one.
It's one of the best movies
he did
ever
all of
made,
them.
guy.
Well, there's a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, didn't he do like well, okay, 4?
That's not the best.
That's not the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Yes,
There
it
are 4
is.
total that he did.
Oh, okay.
He scored 4 total movies. But 4 is not one of them.
Okay, I think I know one of them, which was the First Contact one. I think that was the one he did.
Yep.
I was going to say
Yeah.
5, but I wasn't sure if that was one.
I'm glad you didn't.
That
Based on
was one of
principle.
them.
5 was one of them.
Yep.
So do
5
I get
was
half
one of
a
the
point?
4.
No, you get that's full marks.
Yeah.
Full marks.
Yeah. All right. We're going to swing back to V.
Yeah.
V gets our next question. Who has directed more Star Trek episodes than anyone else? This is a Star Trek related question with a Star Trek
Well,
related
let's see
answer.
if the internet lied to me again. But I came up with Jonathan Frakes.
That's right. Mr. Frakes
2 takes
is the
Frakes.
bomb. 2 takes Frakes.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get him on the podcast for sure.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be so I can tell him again that he is still Riker hot.
Riker hot.
Yeah.
He is.
And
he has very
Paul,
cold hands too. I'll say that.
Paul gets the last question.
Oh,
And I thought this one up just for Paul.
Thank you,
All right. Michelle Yeoh is the most recent Star Trek actor to win an Oscar. Name another Star Trek actor who has also won an Oscar.
Well, Andrew, I won't just name one. I'll name several. Because there's quite a few luminaries who
Yes,
have
there
Academy
are.
Awards on their banisters who have dipped their toe in the Star Trek universe. Zoe Saldana would be one.
Yep.
Of course, from the Star Trek J.J. Abrams thing. F. Murray Abraham, because he needed to put a down payment on the condominium. So he took that role. Keith Carradine is another one. Our good evil villainess from Deep Space Nine, Louise Fletcher. Whoopi Goldberg is another. Joel Grey. Christopher Plummer, for crying out loud. And then Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Jamie Lee Curtis, who's also in that.
That's right.
Breach. I'm still trying to forget that Section 31 ever happened, but film is forever, as they tell me. So she was in that as well. And then just about to debut shortly on Starfleet Academy, Paul Giamatti is another one. So yeah, tons and tons of gold Hefton Oscar folks appearing in Star Trek shows.
So the Trek Spurts did pretty good in non-Trek related trivia. Not bad at all. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to the meat and potatoes, the main topic of our show tonight, and that is the Star Trek radio drama Khan. And for that, we're going to have Paul give us a quick synopsis, and then we're going to dive right in. So the mic is yours, Paul.
All right. So, yeah, this is episode 2, going back to storytelling mythology entitled Scheherazade. And as the episode starts, Khan is kind of avoiding Marla MacGyver's there. She's fallen out of favor, but then he kind of circles back and rethinks things. The potential threat usurper guy from the previous episode, Hugo, is suddenly turned up dead, and it's very unclear what happened to him. Did he take his own life? Did he have a bad fall, or was he pushed? That kind of a thing. So we don't really know. But a lot of this episode focuses on an initial hunting trip out into the veldt of City Alpha 5, where they learn about all these kinds of new dangers. And we have our first run-in with a SETI eel, and we get a lot of really good character development between Khan and Marla over a very cool campfire conversation. And it's Marla MacGyver herself who uses the tale of Scheherazade to explore these conflicting historical accounts of his rule, kind of leading him out with the idea that history is written by the winners. Right, is an expression that she uses quite a bit. So we're really getting into some interesting character development with this episode. I liked a lot of it because we're really kind of out on this overnight hunting trip, a lot of it, right? And it's everyone's kind of looking within a little bit more to try to figure out what makes each other tick, right? What was it that drew Marla to Khan in the first place, besides his personal charisma, right? She violated her oath to Starfleet, her loyalties to her captain, her shipmates. You know, what kind of person does that, right? Is it because she was weak, driven by passion? And she's actually willing to ask herself those kinds of questions, which I think is really cool. And as she presses Khan for more of his story, right? You know, she relates the story of, Scheherazade and kind of, draws parallels there. And her main point is that, okay, historians have told your story, Khan, right? Such as herself. She's a historian, right? But what about the gaps in everyone else's knowledge about everyone else, right? So it's really an interesting kind of almost like a dance between the two of them, trying to reach deeper into getting each other's stories. These are both two characters who are carrying wounds of one kind or another, and are both very protective of their privacy. They both wear armor and guard a lot of things out there, and it's kind of hinted at that without openness or transparency, there could be no real intimacy between two people. And we're not really sure what's going to happen, if these two are going to come back together and be able to be together as a couple or not, because transparency requires vulnerability. And I think it's interesting to see the question asked, how can you be vulnerable if you've been wounded so deeply in the past, right? And then all of this sharing is kind of cut short by this attack of an ominous bug-like insect with terrifying larvae that I'm sure we all have encountered earlier in our cinematic upbringing, right? Of a SETI eel there. And so it's really interesting. I like the fact that this episode portrays Khan with a lot more compassion, right? He even does humor at one point. Like somebody on his team like belches really loudly, and he's like, didn't I warn you we don't use chemical weapons? I mean, he's kind of like, a softer Khan in a way, right? So it's very character driven. Marla talks about how she viewed being on the Enterprise as being like a prison, right? And she needed a sense of freedom. And she also wanted to document this moment in history that she felt he was about to embark upon. So I thought it was really interesting. One of Khan's number is killed by a giant boar, and another character is injured badly. But I think it's interesting to sort of get a little bit more of a sense that Khan's a flawed leader. I found that for me, it made him more relatable and more sympathetic. So it's interesting. And I think just checking a couple other things on my notes. I think that's most everything there. The episode ends with Khan vowing to, go out and face the planet's dangers. He's not really sure exactly what he's going to find there yet, but he's not going back. All right, he's determined to confront what's out there. He's angry that he has lost some of his shipmates because of the planet's dangers, and he's determined to kind of, after having briefly faced some of his own defects in the sharing with Marla, I think he's trying to see if he can go out and write things and maybe correct some aspects of his own story. So that's kind of my take on this episode. I thought it was really interesting. Not as much action per se as I think the initial pilot. We don't get the wraparound story with the Starfleet characters and the landing party. So it's really more of us just sort of listening to these reminiscences and the storytelling. But I thought it was really interesting. So I would probably, should I give my score now, just for economy's sake? Yeah. I think I would give it, I don't think it was quite as strong as the first episode, but I still thought it was really interesting with the character development. I think I would probably give it an 8. I think seems apropos for me. But again, just really great work by the actors on this show. Great voice cast, interesting writing. It felt like a little kind of, slower character development thing, maybe felt a little fillery, but I thought they did such a good job with the character work that I enjoyed it once I slowed down and got into it. So yeah, good stuff. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I agree, Paul, completely, 100%. How about you, V? What'd you think?
Oh, I agree. But what's weird though, like in the very beginning, it's almost like a throwaway that we hear that Hugo is dead, and they don't know what happened to him, and I don't know, that's a little bit suspicious. Did he feel guilty because he had betrayed Khan, blah, blah, blah? Did he, fall, whatever? And then they just say, okay, and then Khan is all, I don't know, it just seems a little too, I don't know, too convenient that, Khan is all, oh, we can't let this happen. We have to have everybody in pairs from now on. Nobody goes off alone. So that was, you know, probably in the missing couple seconds of the no.
Except you, Marla. Except
Yeah, and then
Marla. No one
Marla,
wants to go
yeah,
out with her.
gosh. Yeah, and I just the thing too with Marla, and it just seemed like it's so weird because in Space Seed, I got the impression that she was much more enamored with Khan than she is in this. So I don't know what happened in the trip from the Enterprise to SETI Alpha 5, but yeah. So but it's interesting to listen to. But it's funny, I find myself having to concentrate more because I don't have anything to watch, so I have to try to see in my mind's eye what's going on. So requires a little more thought for me, but I'd give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I found it interesting when she was explaining to Khan about not wanting to kill the crew,
Mm-hmm.
the captain and Uhura and everybody else. And then
Oh yeah.
at the same time, she says something like she felt like she was trapped on the Enterprise, that nobody knew her name. The captain didn't even know who she was because the only reason why he knew her is because Khan was there and he called her up for that particular away team. And it gave me a different impression of her impression of what life was like on the Enterprise versus what she thought life would be like living with Khan um, on SETI Alpha 5, which was cool. And I agree with Paul. This puts a different light on Khan than we're used to seeing. He's upset because Marla's pissed off at him, and he goes to who's the dude that he talked to? Ivan? I don't remember. I think it was Ivan.
Yeah, it was Ivan.
He goes to talk to Ivan about how to deal with Marla, and it makes Khan look more human. It brings him down
Oh,
off this
actually,
pedestal.
no, sorry. That scene, I believe he's talking to Joaquin in that one.
Yeah, he talks to somebody, and who later on dies, which I was like,
Oh,
wow.
spoiler alert. There we go.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, they killed him off with a giant flying parasite winged creature thing.
What do they call it?
It's pronounced Sedidactyl.
Yeah.
Sedidactyl, that's it. But yeah, so I'm with Paul. I'm going to give this one an 8. It was a little bit slower than the first one. It did have a lot. I felt like, and guys, come on, are these augments? Are they like firing all over the place? For God's sakes, Lordy,
Dude,
Lordy.
those two are teenagers, and most teenagers pretty horny. So I actually like that part of the story.
Yeah, but Lord, I mean, it's a 42-minute radio drama, and they're getting jiggy with it twice in the 40 minutes. I was like, wow. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm with Paul. I'm gonna go with an 8. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I think I'm kind of with you guys in that it is a little fillery, but there was some cool stuff going on. I think Paul in his intro did a good job of kind of talking about the two main stories that I saw, which was the McGiver's Con story, and then there's the Richter and is Erica his girlfriend? I think Erica's his girlfriend. Like their kind of thing going on. I mean, I love that I love the character of Richter because I love that there's an augment whose like superpowers that he draws really well. And that he kind of sees things that like other people don't see. He's a good, alternative character to. I think we fall into this trap of thinking that all augments are just warriors. They just want to go around conquering things, and of course, Khan comes across. You as you were alluding there, Jim. There's a big death at the end of this one, and Khan's response to that big death is, I'm going to, strangle this planet and make it mine. And he kind of like has this dominance thing that he is now talking about. And we talked about that last week when he was talking about, he didn't say go fishing and get us some food. He said, go dominate the sea and make it give up its bounty to us. So it's very machismo in a lot of ways, but yeah, they balance that with this idea that the history books on Earth have villainized Khan, and McGiver says, I think in this one something like, there were never any big genocides underneath your rule. Like you were generally a benevolent ruler, and I think that's a cool kind of alternate side to Khan. No big massacres under his rule. Let's see. Ivan, pretty shady character. I think he's the guy who I distrust the most. I mean, I'm pretty sure he pushed Hugh off the cliff, or Hugo, whatever the guy's name was. I think he's the one who killed him. He makes this comment. What is that? He makes some comment in here. It's probably in my notes here somewhere, where you kind of get the idea that maybe he's kind of angling to be in charge of things. And then of course at the end where Khan sort of goes away and he's gonna go do his thing, and he's like, if I don't come back, Ivan, you're in charge. And I'm just like, ooh, this is gonna be a different society if Ivan's in charge of things, because he seems pretty. I mean, he's the guy who like couldn't wait for the targ or whatever for the boar to die after it got shot, right? He had to go in there and like stab it to death with his knife and come out blood soaked. So super shady character. Don't trust him. Interested to see where that story goes. I think at some point there's probably going to have to be a reckoning between Khan and Ivan. That's my guess. That's the way they're kind of setting it up, I think. But I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah, love Richter. Love hate Ivan. And I really want to see what a duck-billed koala bear looks like. So
why is he smiling? What does he know?
Yeah. So yeah, I dug this one. I feel like 8 is about right. Yeah, I mean that beginning one was really like that was like a 9.5. It was right up there. So yeah, I'll agree with you all right now. I think it was about an 8.
Oh, well, David, the pressure's on again. What do you think? We got a bunch of 8s.
Yeah, I might have to go a little bit higher with this one just because I did like the character development of Khan and how they did portray him as just a regular human, because he was kind of in a way how Mario was basically telling him that, you can just write your own story. You don't have to go based off of what Earth history has deemed you as. And so I was like, that's kind of an interesting way of putting it, even though we all know him as a villain. What if he did have like a very interesting past where he was just like, all good and gooey inside or whatever? But yeah, it was just the idea that he did have this defect in his genome, I guess you could say, about him being like always wanting to be a conqueror, a dominant guy, and so it's an interesting way of looking at how they portrayed him in the backstory, and I actually enjoyed that part. And I would have to agree with you, Jim, where you mentioned about Mara, where Captain Kirk didn't know her name until the mission came about. When I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, that makes a lot of sense." Because I bet you all the Starfleet captains don't know anybody's name that's in the lower decks. So, I mean, that makes sense to the point where it's like in a ship of, 400 crew? You can't know everybody until you get them on the mission. So, so I like that whole aspect of the story plot and how it's driven, and it was a little slow, I have to say, yes, but like you guys were saying, it was a filler episode, so it was just kind of like in a sense of getting to know everybody. The first episode to me was just like action packed, and it was just full of like trying to lay the groundwork for everybody. But then the second episode, it was just like now you're getting to get to know everybody. And to me, I actually enjoyed that part a lot. And for that, I actually think I'm gonna have to bring the score up to a little bit higher than what you guys gave it, and I'm gonna go with a 9.
A 9. Cool. Cool. And Charles, that means you got the caboose, buddy.
I think everybody got most of the topic in there. I thought it interesting where they're going through and studying all the life on the planet. Then they reach the point, it's like, okay, the women and the artists can sit there and discover the planet while the men go do the hunting. And yet they're supposed to be augment and rather equal. So I thought that was interesting that Khan was still taking that stereotype. As for Hugo, I was
Yeah, they
kind of
probably
getting.
should have put. I was I was just gonna say, Charles, I agree with you. They probably should have put like a woman in the hunting party, right? That would have been
Yeah.
kind of cool to like flip that on its head just a little bit.
Yeah, he still kind of went with that stereotype, which was interesting. But they were sitting there trying to figure out how to name all these creatures. Like, okay, we've had creatures similar like this on Earth, but we're not going to like name them Earth names. So we got to give them their own name, even though some of them kind of are still using the Earth type name with them. As for Hugo, I was kind of on the impression that he probably was pushed over that cliff because of what he said in episode 1. But I think in summary, I think with the group, I kind of agree with the group on this one. This was a little bit of a filler and an 8.
You're muted there, Jim.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's mine, It's mine. It's mine. So we got some 8s and a 9. That's still respectable. Still very respectable. All right.
So Richter gets lost at the end of this one? Where did he go? I don't know. I'm kind of like, hopefully, I mean, maybe one of you guys has already listened to the next one. I haven't listened to the next one, but like he sort of just disappears and nobody really knows where he is. So
I think he's
a little
gonna
nervous
get
about that.
implanted by the xenomorph.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
did intimate that. Sorry, go ahead.
I did listen to this one 2 and 3 together, and I think some of the answers were in there, but we also get some more details about something coming from the movie.
Wow. Cool. All right, guys. So that wraps up our discussion on Khan, episode 2. And next week we'll do episode 3. And you know what that means? It's time for some Star Trek birthdays. You guys ready for some Star Trek birthdays?
Yay,
Yes.
birthdays.
That was not a Klingon song.
No, Worf, it wasn't, but we like it anyways. All right, guys, this is the part of the show where we're doing sci-fi birthdays this week. We're gonna shake things up a little bit, and we like to start off the show by remembering those members of the family who, sadly enough, are no longer with us. And for that, we turn to Eric.
Yeah, Jim, we have a lot of remembrances this week. I'm going to blast through them so that we have plenty of time for everybody. Our first remembrance this week goes out to actor Morgan Farley. Morgan Farley made 2 appearances in Star Trek, one as Haycom, a male Baden in the TOS episode The Return of the Archons, and one as a Yang Scholar in the TOS second season episode The Omega Glory. He, of course, is one of only 14 Star Trek guest stars born in the 19th century. He was born in 1898 and was already close to 70 years old at the time that he made his 2 Star Trek appearances. So I think that's kind of cool. You know, I know I have a tendency to think, oh yeah, young people were young back in the 60s when they were on Star Trek, but there were older characters at that time too, and some of them were born in the 19th century. He played a large number of mostly small parts in movies, and during the middle of his career, he was also on television. He also played a role in the Broadway musical 17, and during the Second World War, Farley served as an officer in the U.S. Army as well. So happy birthday to Morgan Farley. We lost him back in 1988 at the age of 90 years old. Happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Madeline Rue, born Madeline Solomon. She was a prolific character actress who played Lieutenant Marlon McGivers. Hey, look at that. In the TOS first season episode Space Seed. The timeliness is crazy right now. Rue made over 100 appearances on television, including appearances on Have Gun Will Travel, The Untouchables, Gunsmoke, Hawaii Five-0, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Mission Impossible, and Starsky and Hutch. In a 1960 episode of Bonanza, she played the wife of her Space Seed co-star Ricardo Montalban. No kidding. They were in something even before Space Seed, which I think is pretty cool. After Star Trek, Rue and Montalban reunited a second time for an episode of Fantasy Island. In 1977, Rue was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and was reportedly eventually had to use a cane, then crutches, and finally a wheelchair, but she continued to act all through the progression of her disease, with her final on-screen appearance being in 1996. I think that is super cool. She pushed it as long as she possibly could. So Madeline Rue, fantastic actress. We lost her back in 2003 at 68 years old. Happy birthday to her. Now for one of Jim's laterals. I had to do some research on this one because I was like, I don't think this guy was in Star Trek. Maybe he wasn't, but he's Star Trek adjacent. So we're going to say happy birthday this week to Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance, of course, is an English actor born in Worksop, Nottinghamshire, England. And he was most famous for playing Dr. Sam Loomis in the Halloween films. But adjacency to Star Trek is kind of cool, so follow me here. In Enterprise's third season episode Carpenter Street, which is one of those temporal Cold War ones, there are several references to the 1978 horror film Halloween. In fact, the title and street name is a reference to director John Carpenter. Loomis is a reference to Dr. Sam Loomis, this guy right here, played by Donald Pleasance. Lawrence Strode is a reference to Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Loomis talks about a Mr. Myers, a reference, of course, to the infamous killer Michael Myers. And Loomis drives an old station wagon, much like the one Myers drives in the film Halloween. So Donald Pleasance, from Halloween fame has indirect adjacencies through kind of an obscure episode of Star Trek Enterprise, and there you go. But of course, there are all these other great credits to this guy's name all over the place, right? Twilight Zone, Fantastic Voyage, Escape from New York. He was in You Only Live Twice as the bad guy there. So happy birthday to Don Pleasance. Not in Star Trek, but Star Trek adjacent. Happy birthday as well to Skip Homeyer, the actor who played Melicon in the TOS second season episode Patterns of Force, and Dr. Severin in the third season episode The Way to Eden. Melicon, of course, is the Ecosian, aka the Nazi dude, and Severin is the Tiberian, who's the guy with the funny ears that we are showing you on our screen. Outside of Star Trek, Homeyer co-starred in such films as The Gunfighter with Gregory Peck. Sound familiar? Ethan's dad? Yeah. He was in a whole bunch of kind of Western stuff back in the day, too. And he also played this character named Judge Charles H. Older in the movie Helter Skelter, the movie about Charles Manson. So if you haven't seen that movie, you might be interested. And interestingly, playing Dr. Severin was not Homeyer's first experience with facial prosthetics. Because he also wore them in a 1964 episode of The Outer Limits called Expanding Human, which coincidentally featured James Doohan, another Star Trek name you might have heard of. So happy birthday to Skip Homeyer. Interesting actor who played lots of cool things. You should go look up his IMDb page. Happy birthday as well to Ed Long, who played Midro in the TOS third season episode The Cloud Minders. He has a handful of screen credits to his name, including appearances on The Fugitive, Mannix, the original Batman series, Bonanza Gunsmoke, and a few other of those 1960s television shows. We lost him back in 2015 at 84 years old. Happy birthday to Ed Long. Happy birthday to John Hoyt, the veteran actor of film, television, and theater who played Phil Boyce. That's right, Phil Boyce in the original series First Pilot, The Cage. John Hoyt was originally born John MacArthur Hoystrott in Bronxville, New York. He worked as a teacher of history before he got into theater, and then he sort of went from theater into the Army, and then he went from Army into acting. But this guy has 250 plus screen credits to his name, running the gambit of everything. It's like way too many things for me to even talk about. It's like paragraphs of roles that this guy has played. So since I can't really in a timely fashion talk about the things that he's done, I'll just say that I personally love Phil Boyce. I love his little portable martini station. He feels to me like a real kind of proto Bones character, who I would have been happy to have had as a regular cast member in the original series. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe one day we get to see Dr. Phil Boyce on Strange New Worlds. Not sure if we will, but John Hoyt was the original. We lost him back in 1991 at 85 years old. Happy birthday to John Hoyt. Happy birthday to Lois Jewell, a former actress and model who played Drusilla in the TOS second season episode Bread and Circuses. She was, of course, a professional model. She appeared in over 80 television commercials and numerous print ads. Her only other acting credit was the pilot episode of The Flying Nun from 1967. Unfortunately, she sort of became disillusioned with the acting environment of that time. You probably can understand where I'm going with that. And she eventually went into business with her husband, Harold Jewell, making appearances and then also made appearances on the convention circuit, the TOS Star Trek convention circuit. So Lois Jewell, we didn't get to see as much acting out of her as maybe we would have liked, but I did like her character of Drusilla. So happy birthday to Lois, lost back in 2014 at 76 years old. Happy birthday as well to Harriet C. Leader, the actress who played Amri in the Next Generation first season episode Unification 2. She, of course, is that four-handed salt-sucking pianist in the bar on Qualar 2. She appeared on the television series The Commish also Married with Children, My So-Called Life, and The Time of Your Life, and has film credits in supporting roles in Torch Song Trilogy from '88, For Parents Only from '91, and the thriller Dream Lover from '93. Unfortunately, we lost Harriet way too young, only 59 years old when she passed away in 2004. Happy birthday to Harriet Leader. Happy birthday to Lorna Raver, the actress who played the Judge Q in the Voyager 7th season episode Q2. She's probably best known for her role as Mrs. Ganush in Drag Me to Hell from 2009. And I've actually never seen this movie, but I really kind of want to go see it because for this role, she received 2 Scream Award nominations in the categories of Best Villain and Best Breakout Performance in 2009. And she also got a Saturn Award nomination in the category of Best Supporting Actress. She eventually won the Chainsaw Award at the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards as for Best Supporting Actress in 2010. So I don't know. That seems pretty cool. Unfortunately, we lost Lorna just literally this past May. She passed away May 12th, 2025 at 81 years old. So happy birthday, and we miss you to Lorna Raver. And last but not least, I'd like to say happy birthday this week to Barbara March, the stage, film, and television actress best known for playing the Klingon Lursa in the Next Generation episodes Redemption, Redemption Part 2, and Firstborn, and in Deep Space Nine's first season episode Past Prologue, and also in Star Trek Generations. In 1998, she provided her voice for Lursa in a video game called Klingon Honor Guard. She's also a well-known stage actress in Canada, touring with several theaters in the early 80s. She played roles in Othello, Neil Simon's Chapter 2, The Homecoming, Present Laughter, Macbeth, and The Gaiden Chronicles. Besides her work on stage and in front of the camera, she also wrote several screenplays and treatments for television and worked as a story editor and an original episode writer for the Canadian television series Mysterious Island in 1995. Also had several bit parts here and there on other television series, but I think Lursa is absolutely one of the most recognizable Klingons in all of Star Trek, along with her sister B'Etor. So happy birthday to Barbara March. We definitely miss that face right there, which is what I think of when I think of Lursa. Lost in 2019 at only 65 years old. And that does it for our remembrances, guys. A good list of people all over the place who we miss dearly. So, Charles, I'm going to pass this birthday candle over to you.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Let's start off with a happy birthday to Hannah Cheeseman, Canadian actress who was the second person to play the role of Ariam in the second season of Discovery. Happy birthday to Wendy Robbie, actress who played Luanne Beller in DS9's third season episode Destiny. Happy birthday to Carol Daniels, stunt woman and stunt actress who played Zora in the TOS third season episode Savage Curtain. Her first Star Trek connection was in 1964 when she worked as a stand-in on The Cage. Happy birthday to John Loprino, is an actress who played Orbis in Star Trek Voyager's fourth season episode Year of Hell and Year of Hell Part 2. Happy birthday to Lulu Wilson, the actress who appeared as Kestra Troy Riker in Star Trek Picard's first season episode Nepenthe. Happy birthday to Zara Zedeker, American actress who played T'Pol in Enterprise's fourth season episode Awakening in Kier Shrar. Last on my list, a non-Star Trek, happy birthday to Karen Allen, who portrayed Marion Ravenswood in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny.
I mean, you want to talk about childhood crushes, man. Woo! Forget about it. For me, personally.
Yeah, and the great John Carpenter movie Starman. I don't know if you've seen
Yes, yeah, that was
Starman
that was
with
such a I
with
don't
Karen. She's
very
delightful in that. Really, really
with
good.
what's his I can't think of his name now.
Jeff Bridges.
Yes,
Jeff Bridges.
that was a really
Yeah,
really sweet movie. Heartbreaking
yeah.
but still sweet. Yeah.
And if you
And
really
then,
want to see early Karen Allen, go look at Animal House. Right? She is like, I don't know. She did it like 2 or 3 years before Raiders, right? But she's like super young and like a little naughty in Animal House, I would say.
and of course, don't
And
forget the
didn't she
the
play
annual Christmas special, Scrooged.
Oh yeah, that's right. She isn't Scrooge. Yeah, she's Bill Murray's love interest. That's right.
Yep.
was she Chris Pine's wife in The Perfect Storm? Maybe
Chris Pine is in The Perfect Storm.
I think it was The Perfect Storm. Isn't that the one with the Coast Guard
Isn't that
where they go out to rescue the ship?
I don't know. Perfect Storm's George Clooney is a
yeah,
fisherman.
Clooney. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got my movies mixed up.
It must
You're
be some
right.
other movie. Yeah, it must be something else. I don't know, a Coast Guard one, but no.
All right.
Is that a
Well,
Costner picture you're thinking of?
it might be. It could
Yeah,
be.
I'm seeing like I don't remember it, but I'm seeming to remember something in the Coast Guard with Kevin Costner. Yeah. But
All
Karen Allen's
right.
amazing.
Well, with that in mind, Paul, who's on your birthday list? I pass this flaming candle over to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll be careful not to get wax on my lip here. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it. So, first of all, let's give it up to Lena Headey, a phenomenal English and Bermudan actress who we are acknowledging here for her pivotal turn as Queen Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones, which is an amazing picture. And if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you might want to pop on over to YouTube. They are just now releasing the trailer for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is another HBO series based on George R. R. Martin. So check that out. But Lena Headey is amazing. She's great. Really awesome in the TV series The Sarah Connor Chronicles, where she played the title character, Sarah Connor. And we were just talking about Dredd with Carl Urban, and she's actually the villain in Dredd. She's really a super cool antagonist in that. So she's real badass. Lena Headey's great, really tremendous. But boy, her work on Game of Thrones, man, she's timeless. Happy birthday to you, friend. You are amazing. Happy birthday goes out to Adil Hussain, Indian actor who played Aditya Sahil in Star Trek Discovery third season episodes The Hope That Is You Part 1, People of Earth, and The Hope That Is You Part 2. Happy birthday. Got to slow things down a minute because I don't want to have like a heart attack or nothing because I cannot believe my good fortune to be able to say happy birthday to this luminary, this magnificent human being, this legend, the great Sigourney Weaver, who I have been a fan of ever since I first heard her name. Academy Award nominated actress, best known for playing, of course, Ellen Ripley in the Alien franchise. She got an Oscar nomination for her work in Cameron's sequel, Aliens. And it was like one of the first times in like forever that a science fiction performance had been honored with an Oscar nomination. It didn't win, but man, that was big news back then because she really does an incredible job of playing a survivor of trauma in that picture. It's just legendary. But she's just done so much good work, right? I mean, she's just amazing. The whole Alien franchise is just one thing, right? But she's been in at least a couple of Ghostbusters movies. There is no Dana, only Zool, right? Galaxy Quest, where she, donned a blonde wig and kind of, really had a lot of fun doing her whole thing there. Dynamite serial killer movie called Copycat, that if you've not checked that out, it is amongst some of her best performances, I think. She's great and does a lot of voiceover work for the Pixar folks. She did voiceover work for Finding Dory and for Wall-E. She did tons of work for those guys there. And She is not taking any kind of retirement anytime soon that I can see, because she is all over the place in the Avatar franchise. She's even does voice work as a teenage character in the last Avatar movie, right? I mean, it's full motion capture, the whole deal. It looks like a young Sigourney Weaver, but she's playing a teenager and her voice sounds like a teenager. So she's just amazing. I just think she's one of those class acts. Just radiates cool. Man, I would love to meet her. She's just absolutely phenomenal, but just a good bastion of quality work. Right, never lets you down. She's just absolutely tremendous. So huge fan. Sigourney Weaver, we salute you, friend. You really helped redefine the role of heroic heroine. Uh, More of Valkyrie than anything else. So we love you. Amazing. Have a great birthday. Happy birthday to Duncan Reger, a Canadian actor, writer, and artist who played Ronan in the Next Gen 7th season episode Sub Rosa. I wonder what happens in that episode.
He was the
I'm not
hottest
sure.
evil ghost ever.
I might have to watch Sub Rosa again just to refresh
Ooh,
my memory.
yeah.
He then played the recurring role of Shakar Edon on Deep Space Nine, appearing in 3 episodes: Shakar, Crossfire, and The Begotten, hence the recurring role. Happy birthday to Rosalind Landor, actress who played Brenna Odell in the Next Generation 2nd season episode Up the Long Ladder. I remember that episode. I believe it is replete with rather painful to endure, not so realistic Irish accents, if I remember correctly. It
Yep.
is kind of the Brigadoon of the early iterations of Next Gen, and challenging. But happy birthday anyway to you, Rosalind Landor. You were at no fault, of course, for that episode, but you were great in it. So there you go. And big happy birthday to Scott Bakula, a very acclaimed actor who played the lead role of Jonathan Archer in Star Trek Enterprise. And I'm sure if you're anywhere on the internet, you've seen that there's just a lot of buzzing activity going on there right now, where they are trying to see if they can get a Captain Archer series featuring an older Admiral Archer together, and see if they can do kind of for that character what they did for, Admiral Picard, if you will, and do a Archer-centric episode. Sounds like they have not rolled over quietly, and they keep pitching and trying to see if they can maybe even turn it into like something more Andor-like, where there's a lot of political machinations going on in Starfleet, right? And something of that niche. So I would love to see that happen. I would love to see something like that. That's very intriguing. So I hope that bears fruit. But that's all I've got here this week. Lots of great folks having birthdays. To all of my fellow Scorpios, I salute you. And we'll pass it over to Battleth Wielder, Uncle Jim.
Why, thank you so much, Paul. Yeah, I don't have a lot. I like to do the Klingons, so I save them for the last. And I have one who could be a Klingon, but unfortunately wasn't. First off, I want to start off by saying happy birthday to Jennifer Gotti. And there she is on the screen. If you guys head over to our Patreon page and become patrons, you could be seeing these awesome pictures on the screen right now. There she is right there. She's the actress who played Bael in the TNG 6th season episode Birthright Part 1, Birthright Part 2, and she also appeared as Libby in the Voyager episode Non Sequitur. And she actually was half Klingon, half Romulan, which is why Worf threw her out of bed. That's a whole topic for another show. But happy
Racist
birthday.
ass Worf.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
He's terrible.
I only like the missionary position. That is all I will do.
He's so bad.
It's like,
So happy birthday to Jennifer Gotti. And we also have another Klingon. I want to say happy birthday to Abbas Wahab. He's an actor and comedian who played Raquag in the Strange New World 2nd season episode Broken Circle. And there he is on the screen in all of his Klingonness. Happy birthday and Kapla. And last, but definitely not least, again, if you grew up in the 80s, well, this technically was the late 70s, and you didn't have a crush on her, you definitely had a crush on Erin Gray. But we're going to talk about Pamela Hemsley. Happy birthday. The American actress and author born in Glendale, California, best known as a draconian Princess Ardala in Buck Rogers in the 25th century. And there she is with her horns on, being all horny, slinking around in her little bikini deal thing there, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, if you didn't have a crush on her, it was Erin Gray in her skin tight white satin Earth Defense Force uniform. The lovely ladies of Buck Rogers. So happy birthday to, and I think she also, if I remember correctly, was on the Waltons. Although most of us would know her from Buck Rogers, but I think she was on the Waltons. She may have been. But happy birthday to Pamela Hensley. And that, my friends, wraps up all of our Star Trek our sci-fi birthdays. And now it's time for some Star Trek news.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Incoming transmission.
Enter authorization code. Command codes verified. Define parameters of program. Level 9 authorization required. Specify parameters.
Transfer of data is complete.
Blank alert. Blank alert.
Okay, it's time for our Star Trek news, and I believe Eric is going to start us off this week.
Yeah, we're going to start out as we often do with a Shatner Says What segment, and this one is William Shatner's favorite sci-fi movie. I think this is kind of a cool article. William Shatner will always, of course, be remembered for playing Captain Kirk in Star Trek, but his favorite sci-fi movie has nothing to do with the classic franchise. The Canadian actor was already an accomplished performer by the time he landed the starring role in CBS's ambitious sci-fi program Star Trek, but the series would be his lasting legacy. Shatner returns in the Star Trek movies, and films like Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan have gone on to transcend the franchise to become all-time classics. However, when asked about his favorite science fiction film, Shatner's pick was actually quite surprising. William Shatner's favorite sci-fi film, straight from the mouth of the man himself, Steven Spielberg's 1982 classic E.T. Shatner called E.T. the Extraterrestrial one of the most profound science fiction films because it dealt with childhood fantasy, digging deep into its heartfelt message. Shatner isn't alone in his love for E.T., and there's a reason that the movie is timeless. As mentioned, the story is told through the eyes of a youngster, which gives every aspect a larger-than-life sense of excitement. Spielberg's direction is also key to the movie's success, and few filmmakers use cinema to effectively convey emotion like the Oscar winner. After placing E.T. at the top of his list, William Shatner named 8 other great science fiction films that he considers his favorites. Among established classics include things like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Alien. Shatner actually listed one of his own movies. Though it's often overlooked, Star Trek: The Motion Picture is his favorite Star Trek movie. Considering his personal connection to the franchise, it's clear that the motion picture holds a special place for the screen legend. Shatner is fascinated by the existential questions posed by science fiction, hence his love for films like 2001. The motion picture is the most existential Star Trek film by far, even if it largely misses the mark in its final execution. Who wrote this article? That's it. Table flip. I should have just read ahead and not said that last thing. I'm so sorry. Jim, can you edit that out in post-production,
Shatner
please?
read that. That was a Shatnerism. Shatner says, what?
But yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong saying E.T.? It's a fantastic movie. It was the #1 movie, money-making movie for I don't even know how long, 20 years or more, for such a long time. And it's just so touching. So Shatner says what, but I kind of agree with him here. I think that deserves to be anybody's favorite movie.
Interesting he didn't list Star Trek 5.
Yeah, that's
right?
kind of weird.
That is weird. Well, they must have asked him before the movie came out.
He was recently hospitalized, so he may have been
he went back
a little,
in time.
A little fog.
A little loopy.
Yeah, it could be some fugue going on there.
Yeah, you never can tell.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, and Paul has our next story.
I'm afraid I do, and it's very interesting because Star Trek Starfleet Academy could be arriving sooner than expected, friends. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is the next new Star Trek show for Paramount Plus. The first season wrapped production way back in February. And over the summer, Paramount Plus announced plans to premiere the series in early 2026. One of the most talked about new characters of the show is Commander Lura Thulk, a Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid, who is Cadet Master of the Academy and first officer of the USS Athena, which is integrated into the Academy. Thulk is played by British actress and comedian Gina Yashir, and production on the second season began in August. And Yashir shared a post on Instagram recently praising the team behind the camera with the message that the prosthetic department at Star Trek are a bunch of geniuses. And the costume department made my breasts look amazing. That is not anything I'm adding here. That's what she's saying. That is all. Well, okay, there we go. She also signed off her message with "See you in January 2026." Production of the second season began in August. Paramount Plus making a big push for Starfleet Academy at New York Comic Con going on right now, including the Starfleet Academy interactive experience on the exhibition floor, booth 1723 if you're there, where attendees can step into the role of cadet in training and tackle various hands-on challenges to put their skills to the test. You even get a personalized Academy ID badge to track progress along with exclusive Star Trek Starfleet Academy giveaway swag. Now, we should just clarify briefly that after Gina Yashir posted that social media post, "See you in January 2026," it did get edited to "See you in early 2026," so who knows, right? But it's, they have a big presence at New York Comic Con this weekend, so it wouldn't surprise me if we don't end up getting an actual specific window real soon. But my guess is it's certainly going to be January or February. So we're not going to have too long to wait before we get a brand new episode review of some brand new Star Trek. And I don't know if you've been out there, Trexperts, and had a little peek yet at the USS Athena, because the idea is it's almost like a mobile classroom, if you will. It's like a starship classroom that they can take around. Pretty badass production design, so it looks pretty cool. So definitely check it out. The marketing engine is clearly snowballing and building up steam for this stuff. And so fingers crossed. We got some Oscar winners joining the cast here, so it should be all kinds of good stuff. So that's stay tuned would be where we leave it there. And I'm going to pass this over to Uncle Jim.
So this character is a Klingon Jem'Hadar female, and a lot of people are already being turned off on the fact that the Jem'Hadar don't have females because they're genetically bred, they're addicted to drugs, blah 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 blah. However, I think people are forgetting how far in the future this series is from Deep Space Nine, which is the last time we saw the Jem'Hadar.
Well, and
So,
the Jem'Hadar are all clones, and so if she's got Klingon DNA, like it's not that hard to take, Jem'Hadar DNA and mix it with female Klingon DNA, and I think that's why they're calling her a hybrid, because I don't think she was. My guess is that she wasn't born, because Jem'Hadar are also sterile, right? They don't have like babies in the traditional sense, so I'm guessing she's a clone, and so it's not surprising to me that they could kind of anybody who feels like they're paying so much attention to Deep Space Nine, and like, no, just think about it for a minute. It's very possible.
Yeah, and I'm really curious about her backstory. I think she's gonna make a very interesting story plot to reveal why she's like that. That's something I'm interested in seeing.
yeah, plus we don't know the effect that Odo had when he went back to the Great Link and shared what the Federation is all about. So maybe they freed the Jem'Hadar, and in the hundreds and hundreds of years since then, they became their own people instead of worshiping.
Yeah, there was also the one on one of the DS9 episodes where, for some reason, he wasn't addicted to the Ketracel White, and there were some that were thinking on their own. So that was sort of the hint, So
Yeah,
who knows?
it sounds like they were breaking away really early.
Now, were they clones or were they just like, because I know because the whatchamacallits, the Vorta were clones, but I didn't think the Jem'Hadar, I think they were just like batches that were, born in some sort or created in some sort of bizarre nursery. I don't know. I forget.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Now we don't have to wait as long as we thought, which is really
Yay.
cool. All right, so I have the next story, which we kind of briefly talked about. Brandon Braga says Star Trek TV should return to longer seasons instead of short Tinder relationships. No one has written more Star Trek than Brandon Braga, who has begun his Hollywood career as an intern for Star Trek The Next Generation in 1990 and stuck with the franchise for the first decade and a half. He is writing credits to over 100 Star Trek episodes and 2 feature films. Rose to the showrunner for Star Trek Voyager and later became co-producer and showrunner of Star Trek Enterprise. The future of Star Trek TV was a hot topic after Skydance took over Paramount. Braga, who has created and executive produced several series in the past Star Trek career, gave his diagnosis of the Star Trek landscape. And this is a quote. I look at the audience and I think you're here because you had a long-term relationship with Voyager. Voyager was 26 episodes a year. Some of you probably keep it on because it's cozy, and that's the kind of relationship you had. A lot of shows now are Tinder relationships, 8 episodes every 2 years. I don't think so. That's not going to be something you necessarily pass on to your kids, and I think that's a loss. It's a new paradigm, and some shows are still doing it. NCIS does like 22 episodes. But I really don't know what's in store for the future of Star Trek, the TV franchise anyways. But I hope eventually that they get to longer, more sustained seasons. The last Star Trek season with 26 episodes was season 2 of Enterprise in 2002, whose final season had 24 and 22 episodes respectively. The CBS All Access Plus era that began in 2017 started with 13 episode seasons, although the first season of Discovery was expanded to 15 episodes and split into 2 parts, before settling down to the 10 episode seasons, usually with over a year between each season. And we talked about this a little bit. I see the point that he's making. I think a lot of people, when you only have 10 episodes, well, like, let's use Strange New Worlds as an example. We had 10 episodes and then almost 2 years between. And people forget. It's not talked about. It's not, on everybody's mind. I don't think we're ever going to see 26 episodes again. I think that's long gone. But I do think that the 15 that we saw with Discovery is a good middle ground, because if we're going to see Strange New Worlds and we're going to see Starfleet Academy, we do 15 episodes of each. That gives us 30, where we used to get 26 of one series back in the day. And they have 2 series running, 15 episodes each. I think that would be a happy medium, but I don't think we're going to get it. I think they're hooked on this 10 episode thing, and that's all we're going to get. But Paramount wants to get in touch with me. I'm here. They know how to reach me. I'm always available if they're looking for a consultant. But and I think some of the filler episodes, I think people remember those, like Sub Rosa, right? People remember the filler episodes a lot. The story arcs are great, but I think it's like Spock's brain, stuff like that. But that's just my 2 cents. So, V, you get to wrap us up.
All
You've
right.
got
Do
the
we have
last,
time? Okay, I'll
story.
read as quickly as I can. Who is the
No, you've got time.
Okay, who is the preschool cartoon Star Trek Scouts made for? With very little fanfare, a new Star Trek series beamed onto Nickelodeon's Blaze and the Monster Machines YouTube channel week. It's safe to assume that its largest audience didn't care much. In fact, they probably haven't even heard of Captain Kirk, Spock, or the Starship Enterprise, because Star Trek Scouts is aimed squarely at a preschool audience. Unfortunately, it may not have been made entirely with them in mind. Scouts moves at a breakneck pace, attacking your eyes with a sugar rush of primary colored CG and soundtracked by a lot of enthusiastic shouting. It's toddler TV by the numbers, seemingly designed to make the shortest attention spans even shorter. The stories focus on a trio of 8-year-old space cadets, humans JD and Rue, and Vulcan Sprocket, using their astro alarm and asteroid deflector wheel to protect the world from threats, such as a soap bar asteroid from the Bathnar Nebula. See what they did there? And a meatball I'm sorry, and a meatball asteroid from the Noodle Nebula. There's I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know why that tickled me so much. There's also a cute alien dog called Zips. Sprocket has an Inspector Gadget-esque bionic arm, and they recite their discover, grow, boldly go mission statement at the end of each episode. No surprises there then, as this is effectively preschool TV 101. Yet, the makers of Scouts have thrown in meaningless references to transporters in the Klingon homeworld, Kronos. Why? It certainly isn't for the benefit of viewers who don't yet know what Star Trek is or can go to the bathroom by themselves, and they probably wouldn't care if they did. No, the clear aim of the show is drawing in parents who love Trek and want their kids to love Trek too. Kids growing up today have access to more entertainment than any generation in history. They sure as heck, don't need dumbed down, poorly written approximations of beloved franchises to show them the way.
This is a very, very grumpy article, and I don't care for it.
Yeah, gosh.
So, I'll admit I wanted to see what was up, and I don't have a preschooler anymore, but I watched a few episodes of Star Trek Scouts, and I found it to be just like any other like preschool television show out there. I don't think kids need to know what a Klingon is or what Kronos is. They're just being introduced to these concepts and stuff. And are they trying to get them at a younger age? Yeah. Is there any problem with that? I don't know. I don't see one.
This is the same thing that Star Wars did, right? A couple years ago they launched Young Jedi Adventures, right? It's the same thing. Very, it's a toddler-centric thing. I mean, it's one thing to, it's kind of, demeaning to roll your eyes at something like that, right? Because it's like,
it's a cute show.
Yeah,
reading it, you're like, oh God.
I want to watch it,
it's
even
like
though
Paw Patrol, right?
Yeah, I couldn't keep a straight face reading about the meatballs and noodles, which now makes me hungry. But anyway, but that looks, yeah, I want to see this cute alien dog called Zips. So sounds like fun. I'll give it a watch if I can find it. So.
And the episodes are only like 4 to 8 minutes long each, so they're real short. So you can just, watch them on your lunch break.
Sure.
Yeah, I watched the one with the Meatball Nebula. I watched that one. It is what it is, right? I mean, it's it is what it is. I didn't have a problem really with it.
So many kids shows are not just for the kids. I think famously Bugs Bunny, the animators later said, we never did this for kids. We did this for the grown-ups. And there's shows out there like on PBS, Arthur. I admit, I still watch Arthur from time to time because it's got some great episodes and a lot of the stuff goes right over the kids' heads. So that's nothing new. So I'll definitely give this a watch.
Yeah, you have Kirk, Spock, and Burnham right there on the screen, So, guys, what did you think about the Beyond part of the show? Did you guys like it?
Yeah, it was something different. Yeah.
I thought your trivia was excellent, Jim. Nicely done. Yeah.
So
I think that's a really nice addition.
So we'll stick with it then.
Absolutely.
All
Yes,
right, so
Trek Talking
you
and
guys want
beyond.
to tune in next week for some more trivia? How about the birthdays? Did you like throwing in some non-Star Trek birthdays?
Dude, I got Sigourney Weaver. I scored hard. So yeah, believe me, I liked it.
My favorite part was trying to connect that one guy to Star Trek, and there was a way to do it.
Well, and also, don't forget in Halloween, what was the mask that Michael Myers wore?
It was Kirk's
Captain
face,
Kirk
or I
There you
mean
go.
Shatner's face.
Shatner's
Yeah.
face.
Well, originally, Paul, I actually gave you Karen Allen originally, and then when Sigourney Weaver's birthday came up, I slid that one to Charles and gave you Sigourney because I thought you would enjoy her more.
No, I would enjoy them both, but that's for another show.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be
gosh.
that's
Oh my
the
gosh, no.
adult-rated show. All
Yeah,
right,
that's
guys. Well,
legendary.
we'll keep the Beyond going on then. I'm glad
Yeah.
it worked out well and everybody liked it. So
Yeah.
well, that wraps up our show. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Time flies.
Another show bites the dust.
The crowd goes wild.
All right. Well, I'm your most excellent host, Uncle Jim, guys, and I just want to say to everybody, please stay safe and be good to each other. Remember, sci-fi fans are the best fans. Take care of yourselves and live long and prosper. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye,
Good
all.
night.
Good
Live
night.
long and prosper. Live long and prosper.
All stations, ready for departure, sir. Some problem, Riker? Just hoping this isn't the usual way our missions will go, sir. Oh, no, number one. I'm sure most will be much more interesting. Let's see what's out there. Engage.